the ninja.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times that like I've even like trying to talk with a couple of their extended family members from my cousins in-laws side, and they are when I say democratic, it's to the point of slightly scary. Where I'm like, you really I'm trying to put the brain cells together to make that connection, and it's not happening. But yeah, no, sure, yeah, whatever you say, bud. That's how my cousin could always tell that I'm done talking to him. I'm like, yep, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I need a beer and a cold shot of Jack right now. Excuse me. Rinse my brain of what I just talked to you about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just sit there and like having those open conversations without the aggression. You see their wheels start to turn, and my some of my wife's like best friends, they heard that, you know, I do lean more on the conservative side when it comes to like certain rights, like the Second Amendment right. I don't believe is negotiable in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
You know, but there's some things that I'm like, dude, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
What is it my business? Like, why is this up for a vote? I could care less. What you do when you enter your own home is none of my business unless it's hurting women or children.
Amen.
That's it.
Amen.
You know? But she's like, her friends, they came to her and they're like, he's probably not going to like me. He's a conservative. She's like, well, why do you say that? Because one of them, you know, is gay, and it's like, I could care less. But then what did he say? He goes, why does he post all that stuff? And she goes, well, did it get you thinking? He goes, yeah. There it is. Get those wheels turning. Don't if you're sitting inside your comfort zone, you're not growing.
Right.
You know,
right.
You got to grow. You got to expand. You got to be willing to step outside that, but not just step and step back. Take a couple steps. Find something new. You know, you'll see the world in a completely different light.
Well said, man. Well said. You know, There's a story I can attach to that, and it's very basic. So, my wife and I, in our previous house, before we moved here a couple months ago, we tried forever to grow cilantro in our house, inside the house, not outside, inside. So we know we had this pot by the window. It got sunshine. We watered it every day, blah blah blah, and it grew, but it didn't flourish like it normally is supposed to, because it's supposed to get tall, bushy, and all that other good shit. So we moved here. Right, we have a planter box out back. We put that bad boy out there. I was like, man, I don't know, man. It's the elements. It's nothing. I don't know about this. That son of a gun is the most beautiful green. I mean, you're probably 3 to 5 meters from the box, and you can smell it. The fragrance of the cilantro. It's just beautiful. And the story I'm trying to say is, and it comes to what you were telling. I mean, what you were saying about exposing yourself. I thought, because cilantro is so fragile, and you know, I don't want to put it outside. There's no way he could do it, because I was assuming.
Yeah.
And actually, putting it out there in the elements, in the sunshine, rain, wind, bird shit, the whole nine, it just grew beautifully. It adapted because it wasn't constricted. It was able to come into contact with so many different things, and it's the most beautiful it's ever been. You know?
That's where it's at. You have to. That just translates right into life. You have to be willing to step outside that comfort zone. Like, I was so dead set on not stepping outside the comfort zone. Yeah. And you know, especially when it came to politics. And I sent you that one video. You never addressed it, but
Which one? My bad.
Oh, no, you're good. Dude, you have so many things to address on a regular basis. I'm like, yeah, I understand. Like, so my generation previous are really kind of the first ones where that single parent household really kind of took effect and kind of became the norm.
Gotcha.
And so I was thinking about it, and I go, well, you know, I know that I have, you know, certain things where I cling to family style environments. And that's one of the reasons that EMS is so great. Like I have like when I set partner, I have my EMS family,
Yep.
I have my family, but I cling to that family style. It's so important to me. And I didn't grow up with either parent,
Right.
but even a single parent, like having my grandmother was my mother figure. And then my uncle, when he was around and not off blowing things up and doing the Marine things that he does,
Right.
he he was around to teach me all of the manly stuff. But at the same time, I thrive and I cling to that kind of stuff. And I think after talking with a lot of different doctors and stuff like that, it's that attachment. They call it like an attachment disorder. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of the people right now, and especially right now, they're clinging to that party as like a family.
Yeah.
And I'm, going back into your psychology background, I was trying to get your take on it because I'm sitting there going, well, I was clinging to the Republican Party, like, all growing up. It was far from that. It was my grandmother was a huge Democrat. She loved Clinton, she loved Obama, and so that's all I heard all growing up. And then I discovered, the right to bear arms and all that kind of stuff, and then discovered that there's some things that I didn't agree with whatsoever. And then as it's gone on, it's gotten even worse. And so then I'm a Republican. I'm like, well, wait a minute, I don't have to be a Republican. I don't have to be a Democrat.
Right.
And still have a political opinion that matters and that reaches both sides of that aisle and bridges that gap and kind of brings it all together.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I lean conservative, but I'm not.
Right.
And I think I'm thinking that maybe the single parent household and the clinging to party lines so hard. Like I understand in the way older generations, why it is. They are so dead set in their ways. They're the ones that are still using checks at the grocery store.
I see that too. So I'm like, wow. Wow. And my mom used to do that. I was like,
what's up?
Mom, no, I was just thinking my mom used to do that when I was a teenager. That was like in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus,
we still have people up here that do it regularly.
Ain't that
I was
some
right
shit?
Behind, this was just last weekend when I went grocery shopping. I was behind somebody. How much is it? And so they're so dead set in their ways. There's no change in that. But then again, like the world was moving, and then it went on turbo mode for them, where we went from having corded phones with the 85 to 100 feet of cord wrapped around the house to you can't.
Everything's wireless.
And and in just a short period of time.
Yeah, that's true.
Where it was a matter of, what was it? I want to say less than 10 years, and things were you had the world's knowledge in your hand.
Literally.
And so I think they just got to the point where they're like, I can't figure it out. Like, I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to stay in my set ways. But then you got, the next generation, which started dealing with single parent households and stuff like that. And now you're looking at people who are clinging to family style, but it's not. It's a political party.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing that is really having a hard time with people digging their feet in on both sides and going, no, I can't be a Republican. I can't be. You don't have to be either.
Exactly.
All you have to do is use this. Research multiple different sources in order to find the truth, as you always say.
You'll win every time, folks. You might not like the truth, but at least you'll know what the hell it is.
Yeah,
that's how you can adjust.
100%. Yeah, I find this whole political scene so volatile now. Volatile.
Man. It is. It's unnecessarily volatile too, man. There's no need for all this type of violence.
That's my biggest thing, the violence.
I mean, it's gonna spill over. I'm afraid, but it's not gonna spill over in the way that people are assuming. I know people think there's going to be a quote unquote race war and this, that, and the third. Democrats and Republicans going to shoot at each other or whatever. The the problem, or the violence, quote unquote, I think is going to be the resentment and the I don't know, just the shunning of people who don't get it going forward. I think there's going to be a line drawn like, okay, we know we're all human beings. We know what we look like really doesn't matter. It's how you treat people. So why in the hell are you keep bringing up race and trying to divide into tribes and things of that nature? I really think young folks who are seeing this now, because like you said, they got the world in their hand, bro. There's the riots, the marching, the protesting, the political parties that are obviously trying to put a wedge in between Americans. Young people are seeing this, and they're going to remember when they turn 18, when they turn 21, when they're able to vote, when they get out of college, when they get a job. They're going to remember this shit, and these quote unquote politicians of today will cease to exist because people are fed up with it.
Well, I couldn't agree more. This is the generation that came after me is probably one of the first generations that I've ever seen that is so thickly integrated.
Right.
Versus, even I grew up here in Wisconsin. I spent 14 years before I decided to move down to Arizona to kind of get out of. I live in a small town up here. I had to get out of here and just kind of figure out my life.
Totally understand.
It was work 5 days a week. Bar 2 days a week, church on Sunday. Just on repeat. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
That's small town America right there, buddy. I get you.
Oh my God. So I had to get out of it and move down to the middle of Arizona and completely changed who I was. Like 100%. I came back and people I lost friends over that because they were so stuck in the same path and didn't want to, change. But I remember growing up and even in high school, there wasn't really that. Everyone kind of had their own separate groups. Right. And it wasn't, we weren't doing it because we hated the other person. Like I knew everybody in my high school class, but they kind of all hung out. And so there's a river that runs directly through the middle of my city.
Okay.
And I live on the other side of what you would call the hood, the ghetto, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those people all kind of hung out together, in school, out of school. That's where that's what it was.
Sure.
Us country boys like myself, we hung out all together because, we were all hanging out on the farm. But at the same time, come Friday night, everybody was out at the farm having the cookout. Yeah. We someone would roast up a pig and everybody was there. But at school, I just remember that because then you'd hear about stuff and you're like, well, when did that happen? Like that didn't happen at the party. And they're like, oh no, it happened at the after party down there. And it's called the ward. It happened down in the ward. And we're like, oh, we weren't invited to that, but we invited everybody else out. Like, I don't,
right.
And I think that right there, like I'm seeing it now where you don't have that, where you see a group of kids walking. And it's the full spectrum. They're not seeing what we see, right. But then again, like I saw color, but I didn't fully understand where it was all at. Sure. I didn't understand my place in it. Never learned that in school,
right. Yeah. You're not gonna learn that in school.
So it was one of those things where like, I hear about this now at 30 and I'm like, whoa. Like I've never treated anybody badly in my life,
Exactly.
Unless me and him had a personal beef, like I was good with everybody, and so you hear stuff where it almost seems like I made this analogy the other day to one of my coworkers. I was like, it's almost like the new Chris Hansen. It's To Catch a Racist nowadays.
Oh, interesting.
But I think it's to the point where people are asking questions like I do myself, and immediately it's, I'm literally curious. I have no idea.
Right.
That's why I'm asking. And so when I was, dude, it probably took me a week to ask my first question with you. Because I was like, is it about to happen? Like, am I about to be called out straight up on TikTok on this?
Yeah.
And then you address the question, and I was like, oh, it is that easy, because
it is.
It really is that volatile, though, at the same time. And that goes to show that not everybody is really wanting to bridge that divide. They want to stay in their set ways and not have that conversation unless someone's willing to fully 100% agree with them, no matter what it is. And it's like, well, wait, let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
Exactly.
You know, so you can take a look from my view and I can take a look from your view. And that way we have a, 100% 360 view of everything going on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a great way to put it. It is unfortunate more people don't want to have dialogue that are, my age and your age. It's just, how old are you, by the way?
30.
30. Okay. Yeah. It's people our age, man, they really should be communicating more about stuff like that. I mean, it's just so, like you said, it's volatile, but it's necessary for these young people to understand why it is so they can fix it. And they're going to mimic the older generation. That's just what kids do. They're going to mimic us. So we gotta prove.
I agree and disagree with that. I see a lot more people willing to stand up to the older generation, like within their group, within their like parents and stuff like that, and go, "What? That's not how things are going right now."
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this. But at the same time, there's one kid that I've known for years, and it's a constant education situation with him. He takes, because like I'm a country boy, big trucks. I'll play on the farm, but I have no problem, hanging out with anybody. I seriously, if you want to sit down and have a beer, I'm all down.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And so he takes that persona of country boy and takes it to like this huge unnecessary, they're never going to take my flag and I'm like, dude,
that's not necessary.
You don't have to fit those every little check the box on the stereotypical. That's just giving all the rest of us a bad name because we're not like that.
Exactly.
And B, you're not changing anything. You're not opening your mind. All you're doing is, well, this is who I am. No, it doesn't have to be who you are just based on the stereotype that you gave yourself.
Exactly.
And he's coming around. He's
work on him, Austin. Get him right, man. Get him right.
Little by little.
Get him right, bro. And it's same thing in the hood too, man. These cats just want to stick around the block. They just want to hang out with the homies and do X, Y, and Z like they always have, and they saw their uncles do and their cousins do, and it's not necessary, man. You don't, like you said, you don't have to live in that proverbial bubble where you have to say, okay, stereotype A, check B, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do that, folks. Be yourself. Now's the best time to be yourself, man.
Exactly, and that's exactly it. And so he actually posed a question to me the other day, and I was like, well, it's a good question. His phrasing was terrible, as per the usual. Because when I say he grew up in the country, grew up in the like, it was a trailer somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Oh man,
that's where, and then he went to school, barely graduated, and he's just working, on the farm, but never really, expanding out his knowledge base.
Gotcha.
And so he posed a question to me. He's like, well, there's a lot of people that talk about the KKK and how, they're terrible. Okay. Watch where you're going with this.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
And he's like, and you hear a lot of people that go, especially in the South. I'm like, well, it's anywhere. But, first off, is it Black Americans or African Americans? I've heard so many different.
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah.
Have at it. Okay. Take your pick.
A black person goes into a certain area and your kind isn't really accepted around here.
Right.
Okay. He's like, well, how is that any different than, a black person telling me you're not really accepted, or, don't try to come down near, in my hood. You ain't gonna make it out. How is that different? I'm like, I don't see the difference. I see both of them as very negative and very, that's not helping the situation in any way, and that's not going to change anything.
Nope.
But at the same time, he was like, that's kind of like the KKK, but and I'm like, not quite, not quite. They were way worse.
See, you got on the highway and then you got a flat.
Yeah. He took that hard right real quick.
Wow.
Ended up in weird. And so that's why I was like, well, let's rewind it a little bit, because I'm like, first off, read up on the KKK, because we really need to discuss. If you're wanting to talk about that and use that in your analogy, you need to know a lot more.
You need to know,
apparently.
Yeah.
But and I think that's it's a fair point, minus the KKK part. But I'm going to be honest. There's sections of the ward that I can't walk into without people going, "You shouldn't be here right now."
Right.
It's like, well, why? Why is that
Right.
Why can't I come in here and hang out with you guys, talk with you guys? We're both human. Let's talk as humans. We're both Americans. Let's talk as Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the problem here, and I think getting to know me and talk to me might actually change your positions on things.
Exactly.
And it's something that I was like, it's a fair point that you brought up, but let's work on phrasing. Yeah, he came at me with one, and I just shut him down completely.
Right.
He started it out. So the Black Panther Party. I'm like, nope. We're all done with this conversation. Move on to your next topic.
Yeah, they got the worst propaganda job done on them, dude. It was. Wow.
Well, have you seen the new? Is it? I don't know if it's revitalized or if it's a new.
They call themselves the new Black Panther Party, but their actions are not that of the Black Panther Party. The original Black Panther Party is not. No, I kind of get a kick out of these groups that pop up talking about their militant this and militant that. And if you want to. I'll put you like this: if you want to create a gun organization that's strictly for African Americans because of the experience with guns and black folks, I get that. Teach them gun safety. Hell, teach them how to hunt, how to survive out in the wild, like I did. Right, my dad, my uncle, I grew up in the mountains of that, Appalachian Mountains. I'd be fine. But if you want to teach those, especially the young people, how to handle a firearm properly, how to store it properly, how to clean it, and all the other good stuff, give them responsibilities with it, hell yeah, go for it. But to label yourself as pro-black and American and this, dude. Just be an American who cares about their country enough to teach others how to survive and take care of themselves. That's all you have to do. You're making it too. I get why they do that, predicated on the past. I get that, but now you can take a completely different angle that doesn't have to include that. Okay, you could take it to a completely different angle, because it's not like it used to be. Right, we still have pockets of stupidity, obviously, but now it's more.
They're bigger than ever right now, unfortunately.
It is, yeah, it is, because it's more. Because of technology now, it's on a grander scale. You can see it, much more quickly than as opposed to you have to read it in the paper every day. You have to wait for that paper, or the news will come on at 6 or something like that. Now it's like 24/7, 24/7.
Peter Jennings.
Yeah, right. Good evening, everybody.
I saw people posting up the photos of them on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if you're on Twitter, be careful where you head on there. Dude, it is the hatred that is floating around in there, and it's so prevalent.
It is, dude.
And people don't care. That 240 character count, they will spew whatever they want to. And it's that keyboard warrior BS that you wouldn't say that to my face if we were face to face.
Exactly. Exactly.
But they posted up. It was a side-by-side photo of the new Black Panther Party and then the people that did the protests up in Michigan.
Oh,
and they're like, one of these you accept and one of these you don't. I'm like, actually, I accept both of them. Right. It's Americans practicing their Second Amendment right.
That's right.
And the minute I put that, it was, so you're an all lives matter kind of guy. I said it's Americans practicing their Second Amendment right, and I'm here for it. That's all I said.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to read into, folks. It's pretty cut and dry.
So I went literally. Because I'm one of those people. I'm just not afraid to say something when it comes. When I see it.
Right.
I went. Is it because of the color of my skin and what I said that caused that issue? Because if it is, say so.
Exactly.
Call it how you see it.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, 100%. I'm like, okay, so just because I just want all Americans to be able to practice their Second Amendment right openly, constitutionally, and safely, I'm automatically against what you guys are going for. I'm addressing to what's going on in the picture. It has nothing to do with all the protesting going on and what each protest was about. Right. It was literally just going, yeah, I don't see a problem with either of these photos.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that was just one of those things where you see that kind of it, and that's what I was talking about. It's that to catch a racist sort of thing, and everyone's out to get. It's like I'm gonna go get me one today. There's no reason for that. Come on,
is it, man? Come on, dude.
There's no reason. Instead of to catch one, why not it be? How about we educate somebody who may not know exactly what they're talking about,
exactly,
or they might be speaking out of line, or they literally are curious, like I posed to you.
Yeah.
I'm literally curious because I have no idea on a lot of the stuff. Right. I know that I'm undereducated. I know that I didn't pay attention in high school, and I'm taking care of that now. But it's a slow process. I'm trying to cram 4 years into. What are we on? The month number 2 of actually realizing that I don't know everything I thought I did.
Something like that.
Someone's got to give me a break, man.
She whiz, people.
I can only listen to so many audiobooks and read so many things at the same time before my brain short circuits and you find me on the floor just cuddled up with a bottle of Maker's Mark going, it's going to be okay. It's just, and, initially when this whole entire thing was going down and the protest started, I was really curious and I was waiting. It was one of those things. I was going to wait and see what's the message that they're looking for exactly. What are they looking for? And I didn't really get it, so I started asking, what are the specifics? What do you got? Because I'm somebody, you have to tell me what you're looking for in order for me to be able to do whatever I can to help.
Right.
All I'm seeing is buildings burning, people dying. I have no idea what we're. Is that what we're looking? Is that like what are we looking for? What's the message behind all this? And I myself, I take most things at face value until I can explore further. So they're wanting lawlessness, burning buildings, and dead. Okay, that doesn't sound like it should be a thing that they're protesting for. So let's retract. And so then I was like, all right. So I asked a legitimate question. I saw a protest. Sorry if I'm taking this up too long.
No, go ahead, man.
Okay. So I saw a protest where it was the police and the protesters marching as one. And I thought it was the greatest thing. And I was like, okay. So my question with that is if, somebody from that protest leaves and they're speeding and the cop pulls them over and gives them a ticket. Is everything still good? Or is it, I didn't understand what they were looking for. And people are like, how dare you? And I'm like, whoa, because I have no clear message.
Right.
I have no clear message as to what you're wanting. And now the message, I think after like the first week, towards the end of the first week, we started hearing that voice, but it was drowned out so badly by all of the pure riots, where it didn't, I can understand that emotions and everything else. But the clear message that they were looking for was getting drowned out by everything else. To people like myself, where I was like, okay, so there is a systemic problem. Now I have something to look into. Now I have something to research. Now I have something to really, some meat to chew on. Other than looking at all this and going, well, I mean, I understand insurance and everything, but I'm just wondering what Aeropostale did to you. Like,
he's an Aeropostale.
I'm just, I don't understand why all these things. And then, one of my good friends out in Arizona, he hit me up and he's like, dude, like, what's up with all this? Because they all started to realize that I'm headfirst into all of this.
Right. Not
just this, but the whole political parties and everything else. Right. And so they're coming to me for information. They're like, what is going on here?
Cool.
I'm like, well, as I can see right now, because that was right after the Scottsdale fashion center got completely raided by,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, they're like, dude, what is all of this about? Like, everything was good, and then windows were shattering. And, we left as soon as that all started to happen. We took off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people like Jake Paul, a guy who's worth $19 million in there looting, but he's saying he wasn't part of it. And it doesn't matter, dude.
No,
you don't need to be there for that. And the looting and all that kind of stuff, that new Samsung is not going to help the message you're trying to.
That irks the hell out of me. Why are you taking possessions? No possession was involved in this whole situation except for a life. Exactly. A life was taken away, not a fucking TV. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Exactly. Oh no, you're good. And so finally we started to hear the message, and like it came through crystal clear. And now, okay, let's take appropriate steps. Mm-hmm. Let's figure out. Let's come together. Let's sit down at the table. Let's talk. Mm-hmm. Just like you and me are doing right now, as to what we can do to fix it. What we can do, And so, I have a good friend who moved down to Atlanta.
Okay.
And he's a paramedic firefighter on the Atlanta fire department. Uh-huh. He's like, we're not running calls because the police aren't there. We, as paramedics and EMS, we utilize the police force to, either to make sure a scene is safe. We're not there to control, out of control people. We're there to treat patients.
Right.
And rule number 1 is don't become a patient.
Right. Yeah.
And so he's like, he goes, I have no idea what to do because like it's so intertwined, and I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Right.
That how we work together as one team, And so he's like, yeah, the police aren't showing up, and so we're literally sitting at the station with boarded up windows and stuff like that, and people are knocking on the doors and everything else. And he goes, we had a huge crowd outside of our thing asking why we weren't out, saving lives. And it's like,
wow,
you guys don't fully understand exactly what you're asking for. That's it happened up in Seattle, that whole Chaz.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the videos of it.
Yeah.
Where he was calling them out and saying if it was your kid, you'd be in there in a heartbeat. Well, first off, no, conflict of interest. Like I'm not allowed to treat my own family members.
Right.
And 2, police have to get through and make sure the scene is safe. That's a standard protocol across the board. That is a national protocol that we can't break from.
Right.
And I don't think that people fully realize how intricate that whole entire system runs.
Mm-hmm. It is a well-oiled machine, dude. It is.
Yeah, and so like I understand that something's got to change. I 100% understand that, and every police officer that I've talked to, which I interact with them a ton,
Yeah.
They're all in agreement, and they're all on the same page. Yeah, what happened to Floyd? Absolutely not. Terrible thing that happened. And it was awful, and, and the same with Breonna Taylor, which I'm kind of curious as to why we haven't heard her name more.
Yeah.
That is a brutal.
Yeah, that was brutal, dude.
That was execution.
It was. I mean, they shot her up in the bed, right, or something?
She was in the bed, and her boyfriend grabbed the gun that he legally owned.
Right.
Because he heard somebody break into his house. It was a no-knock warrant.
Oh, well then, hey.
You come into my house?
I mean, what are you supposed to do?
There's a reason I have all of them.
Exactly.
As I tell everybody, that door lock is not for me. That's for you. That is for you to know, you know what, maybe a different house.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should just go home for the night and not do any of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a no-knock warrant. And he grabbed the gun to defend his house,
right,
his apartment, and next thing you know, 9 shots are fired. And like, I don't understand why we're not hearing her name more and why no action is being taken. It's just an awful thing. And so, but yeah, every police officer that I talk to, they're like, yeah, 100%, like something's got to change. Something has to change. And it's, okay, let's sit down and talk. Let's get the community together. Let's bring the nation together, because I can't jump on the bandwagon of the ACAB. I can't stand it personally
Uh,
it's
Another broad generalization, and it doesn't get anything done.
nope, because like I interact with them on a daily basis, and they've saved my life on more than one occasion. You
Right.
know,
Well, there you go.
and but at the same time, they didn't take anybody else's life. They did what their training brought them to do, with was control the situation, not dominate the situation.
Right.
Control the situation, bringing everybody back down to baseline. We work from there, and so it just I sit there and I see all they're humans. Like I interact with them, and I know there's a lot of them that have firefighter or paramedic wives, or the other way around. You know, and you sit there and you're like, no, I know these guys. I've gone to cookouts with these people. Like they're amazing people. They're not. It just because they put that badge and gun on. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there that need to be disciplined, need to be, maybe riding desk for a while.
Yeah.
Till they get their head right.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's let's get rid of all of them. And because I'm going to tell you this much, a social worker is not going to run in to a murder scene.
Nah.
Not going to happen.
No.
They're going to go, is there anybody with like firepower that can make sure everything's cool in there because I got a clipboard.
Unless they start, filtering special force groups for social workers. You have a former Green Beret as a social worker. Maybe that'll work. I don't know.
I mean, I'm here for the idea. I'm still on board with the whole. What was it? There was a huge suggestion of using retired veterans as liaisons for school.
I can see that. I mean, there's a big push in the state of North Carolina to get retired military into the schools as teachers.
And I'm here for that.
Yeah, that's worked out decently. But the only problem is, you were retired military. You getting paid as a teacher is not even going to match to your. It's not going to match your retirement benefits. So if you're going to go in as a 20 plus year veteran into the school system, you're not doing it for the money. That's for damn sure, because your retirement pays more than some of these teachers make. So
that whole system needs to be completely revamped.
Yeah.
There's something desperately wrong with the fact that education is not at the top of our list. I'm all for making sure that our military has good funding, and making sure that we have the military power to take on whatever comes at us, to protect the United States. But at the same time, I think knowledge should be right behind that. It shouldn't be the bottom of the list. And I also have a very difficult time with how the funding is spread out using that standardized testing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is, if we're going to do that, flip that triangle on its top, and the people that are getting the lowest scores get the highest funding to change that. And it's just not happening.
No, it's not.
You
got to make. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. I just don't understand why this is such a big problem, or why it's so taboo to even consider that. A lot of these other schools that are getting a majority of the funding because they got higher test scores, their communities have the ability to fund their schooling.
Bingo.
Why are they dependent on the federal government when these inner cities, like I've gone down to Chicago, I've worked in Chicago, I just worked one of the riots in Chicago a couple weeks back.
Shit.
And talked with people, just talked. Now it was a little intimidating on their part because I'm an EMS provider in full riot gear.
Right.
But I'm like, let's talk. What year does your history book go up to? There's people's history books that don't even hit Clinton down there. Are you kidding me? That's the kind of stuff that needs to be addressed. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be taken care of.
Jesus.
These are the schools that we need to be focusing on.
Man.
Because they're not, if you're having to botch together a curriculum outside of a book after the book is done to cover, what is that, a span of almost 20 years, 20, 30 years?
Damn near 30, yeah.
Yeah. The kids are the kids are going to notice that, and they're not going to learn what needs to be learned, and they're not going to care. And they get
Yeah.
these books that are broken down, and that just whenever I got a book that was completely broken down, it was like the school just doesn't even care about me.
There you
You
go.
know, you don't have the nice stuff. Like my, I have a family member that went to school at a very well funded. It was surrounded by farms, but they were very well off farms. They were doing very well for themselves. Their school was funded by those taxes and by the parents. They entered high school freshman year, first day of freshman year, were handed an iPad that was theirs to keep. Are you kidding me?
Damn.
That they could do whatever they wanted with. Are you kidding me?
Amazing.
How are we not focusing this kind of stuff on these inner city schools that are not being funded?
Man.
That are leaving these children just to fend for themselves when it comes to knowledge, because if you get the right knowledge, you can do anything. And that's what I'm learning right now. Sitting there reading all these books, everything else, and that's why I constantly ask people, what book are you reading? I want to know. I want to know what people are thinking, where they're getting their information, their viewpoints. That's what needs to happen. Sharing that knowledge is where it's going to be.
Well said.
And not the false information that floats around. I've gotten to the point where I just don't even address it anymore. I can't, because it's just it's so prevalent. It's like, dude, I'm just wasting my time typing.
Yeah.
You're not going to care.
Yeah.
Just fact check yourself. If you're not willing to do that and you're really willing to spread that kind of information, then I'm sorry.
Good for you. Have a good one. Enjoy that life.
Yeah.
Well, Austin, hey, bud, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm gonna walk my dogs, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully we can do this again. This has been good.
I have a feeling we are.
And if you want to, I would absolutely love to have you on the True American Show to chit chat.
Well, hell yeah, man. Yeah.
That'd be absolutely amazing.
Heck yeah, rock that, brother. Yeah, let's schedule something. Absolutely. Absolutely.
As soon as I figure out all the extra stuff, because like all of this YouTube and stuff like that, I'm learning on my own. I have no previous
same here
experience. I'm just like, we'll grab some lights and we'll grab a camera, and I will get yelled at for my wife for spending all this money, and here we are.
That's how it goes.
So, but yeah, I'll try to get that all figured out, and we'll have to set something up.
Do that, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Everything that you're doing out there. You keep up the good work. That's God's work out there, buddy.
Hey, I'm humble.
It really is. It's.
I appreciate
it's changing minds, whether they admit it or not in the comments. It is. You're making them think.
Good.
That's all that needs to happen. Get those gears turning. Shake off that rust.
Let's go. Take it easy, Austin. I see you on TikTok, yeah?
What's up?
I see you on TikTok.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Later on, man.
All right, bro. All right. That was Austin from Wisconsin. And that's some knowledge right there that he dropped on us. I appreciate that. So, up next, we're going to be recording with a individual from the South Asian area. I believe he's born here in America. We'll see. We'll have to talk to him tomorrow. So, appreciate you guys checking out the Duet Ninja podcast. Peace and blessings to you all.
Ninja warriors, the powers they hold are legendary.